everyone, this is Eugene Roddenberry.
Dr. Mohammed Noor.
Adam Nimoy, Leonard Nimoy's son.
This is Leonard Crowfoot.
This is Dr. Aaron McDonald, Star Trek Science Advisor and Lieutenant Commander McDonald on Star Trek Prodigy.
And you're listening to
Humanist Trek.
Humanist Trek.
You're listening to Humanist Trek.
the Humanist Trek Podcast.
And you're listening to Humanist Trek, a fabulous, fabulous show.
Enjoy.
And don't worry, you can do your Temporal Mechanics 101 homework later.
Meanwhile, on the Pakleds ship, Geordi has beamed over to this piece of shit station wagon.
Wood paneling. Oh, shit.
Perhaps I could use this as an excuse to go to those far-off planets with little polka-dotted people if necessary, and be able to talk about love, war, nature, God, sex, all those things that go to make up the excitement of the human condition.
This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Welcome aboard.
Jean-Luc Picard to the starship Enterprise.
You want to review your rapid progress?
That nonsense is centuries behind us. To the starship Enterprise.
Oh, yeah?
And it's enough, damn it!
Tempo, mon capitan.
To the starship Enterprise.
But you can't deny that you're still a dangerous, savage child race.
Of the planet Earth.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
We are Pakleds. We are far from home. Our ship is broken. I am Sarah. We look for things.
I am Allie. We are smart. We need your computer things.
And welcome to Humanist Trek. It's a comedy Star Trek podcast about the humanism in Star Trek.
So lately I've been watching, I don't know what it is, and I'm fascinated with like true crime and stuff. So there's like all kinds of documentaries now, and I guess the whole world seems to be fascinated with it. And as a single woman, I always think about, oh, that could be me, like someone getting kidnapped or just happening to meet someone, crossing paths with someone, and then, or breaking down on the side of the road, and then you just meet the wrong person. And everybody everyone presents themselves as nice, but then you could be fucking murdered. I don't know. I've just been fascinated with murder and true crime lately. It's weird. There's so many documentaries out there.
That's so interesting because I feel like, and maybe this is the over romanticization of, the 50s and 60s or whatever, but like, I feel like it used to be so much more of a common and safe thing to be broke down on the side of the road and someone stop and help, or you be the person to stop and help someone else. And today I feel like, no, thank you. I will call AAA and I will handle this myself. Please do not come check on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would feel bad. Like, even if I saw a woman, because, women are typically like non-threatening on the side of a road. Even if I saw a woman, I'd be like, I'll call somebody for you, but you are not getting in my car.
Yeah.
I'm not getting out. And
oh God, picking up hitchhikers? Holy shit.
Oh geez.
No way.
That used to be a thing.
Yeah. So common.
But also how a lot of horror movies started.
Yeah, it's probably how a lot of your true crime stories were written from real stories that happened.
Yeah, I mean, you have to make a snap judgment of people, sadly, to stay safe. You could be wrong, but do you want to take the chance of being right? You know what I mean? Maybe you're wrong, maybe they're harmless, but I ain't gonna find out.
Right. They also could kidnap you.
Yeah.
Like they do this week on Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 17, Samaritan Snare.
Commander, you'll soon be getting an intruder alert.
What?
I've got something, sir.
Intruder alert, sir.
It's an old-style starship, sir. Constellation class, heading this way under impulse comm.
Number one, kindly take charge of our guests until we have time to decide what we're going to do with them. Sir, number one, keep them out of my way.
This week, we're headed to the Epsilon 9 sector to survey a new pulsar cluster while Wesley...
Have the boy sent to the bridge, number 1.
My name is Wesley.
Wesley, I wanted to speak to you about the boy.
My name is Wesley.
He seems to have developed some sort of special attachment to the boy.
My name is Wesley.
Did he say Wesley? The boy?
My name is Wesley.
What is the boy doing here?
My name is Wesley.
The boy, where is he, please?
My name is Wesley.
The boy? He's outside.
My name is Wesley.
Wesley Crusher, report to the bridge. On the double.
Goes to Starbase 515 for some Starfleet exams, and on the bridge, Riker hands Wes a USB drive from the Academy. And Data, of all people, is like, don't worry, Wes, I found these exams to be quite elementary. Because of course he would.
Yeah.
Riker tries to calm the nerves by reminding Wes that he's got all this practical training on the D that none of the other cadets have. And Data adds Commander Riker is correct, while the information imparted to cadets at the Academy is unquestionably vital for prospective Starfleet officers. It nevertheless requires a significant period of supplementary systems training and situational disciplines. And Riker's like, didn't I just say that? We haven't done one of those in a while.
In Pulaski's office, Picard and Pulaski are going at it a little bit. Pulaski's upset for some unknown reason, and she's ordering him to report to the Starbase that Wesley's going to. And he's like, I feel fine. Leave me alone, bitch. And apparently he's been ignoring a health problem for far too long, and she's getting on him about it.
This is something we see all the time, not only in Star Trek, as captains are always like, I'm too busy to come down for my physical, but men in general. In the, I'm not going to go to the doctor, I'm fine, everything's fine, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, so we still they don't say what it is quite yet, but he's looking forward to going to see whatever they're going to see, some Epsilon pulsar. And Pulaski's like, fine, then let me do it. I'll perform the procedure right here. And he says no. He feels like it would be inappropriate for her to did the procedure. And I don't think I watched this like a bunch of times. I don't understand why he would think it's inappropriate for her to do a medical procedure on him.
I don't either. I don't get it.
She takes it as, oh, you've got an ego. You're concerned about your image and you don't want anyone to know on the ship that you've got this medical issue. So fine. I won't tell anyone.
Yeah, don't worry. You get your ass over to the Starbase and your penis enlargement surgery is safe with me.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. And this idea of like the infallible captain image that he's worried about people thinking, I don't know. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, he storms out of sickbay and onto the bridge as Wes is about to leave. And he tells Wes, hey, we're going to carpool to the Starbase. And like shots around the bridge. Everyone's like, record scratch. What?
But you're going to miss the pulsar. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, Jesus. So,
yeah.
But yeah, Riker's like, what?
So he's like, Riker, you have the D and I'll be in my ready room. So, of course, Riker follows him to the ready room and rings the doorbell. And he's like, listen, this you going to the Starbase thing is really sudden. Are you sure there's not something you want to tell me? But Picard is not talking about it. It's captain's privilege. Nothing to do with ship's business. Thank you very much. It's a strict matter of image. And, of course, this is not a very satisfying answer for anybody.
Yeah, see, there's these aliens that burrow into people's heads and they're controlling some of Starfleet, and we got to figure out like who they've infiltrated Starfleet, and it's a priority mission, and I can't tell you.
Are we doing that again? Wes is walking down a hallway to the shuttle bay with Geordi and Sonia. You remember her from last week, and he's nervous about having to spend 6 hours in a car with Picard. Who wouldn't be?
Oh, yeah.
Ugh. He thinks he's going to have to figure out what to talk about for 6 hours. And Sonia rattles off a bunch of topics that Picard would like. But then Picard stuffs off the turbo lift carrying a couple actual physical books, so maybe he's not planning to talk at all. And fucking Geordi just can't resist.
No.
Nice day for a little drive, huh, Cap? And the look on Picard's face could kill.
On the shuttlecraft, Wesley and Picard are getting ready to take off. They've been cleared for departure, and off they go.
And on the bridge, Riker is still trying to figure out why Picard is going to the Starbase.
Like, dude, let it go. Let it go. Man, just let it go.
They get a vague distress call and head off to check it out. And of course, Data has to point out that this detour will take them pretty far away from Picard. Yeah, I'm sure everything will be fine.
Yeah.
I will not have you telling me what course to set.
As Chief Medical Officer, I am ordering you to report to Starbase 515 immediately.
Oh, please. I feel fine.
Some time passes, and they arrive at the ship in distress, which Data classifies as an early design, capable of sublight travel only. Then the phone rings, and Riker answers, and there on the view screen is an alien apparently designed to look as sad as possible. He's got this pouty bottom lip, and the way these eyebrows are glued to his face, and there's like folds in the ham on the sides of his eyes. Like everything just makes him look sad.
There's folds in the ham, really. And it's so funny because the guy doesn't even look at him initially. He's looking off to the side. And of course, Riker introduces himself. I'm Officer William Riker of the USS Enterprise. And the guy is like, uh-huh.
This was so great. Riker's like, you put out a distress call? Uh-huh. Okay, what's wrong? And the alien's like, we are Pakleds. We are far from home. Our ship is broken. So this is Grebnedlog, although I don't think his name is ever spoken in the episode.
It's not. Yeah.
And put a pin in that. We'll get to names later. But he is played by Christopher Collins, who we saw already as Kargan, the Klingon, in A Matter of Honor. And we'll see him again a couple of times in DS9.
Mm-hmm.
And I read that the species name Pakled literally means pack led, like a pack of sheep being led around.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I know about the name, which, like you said, we'll get into.
Yeah.
So there was some little Easter eggs in there, I guess.
Geordi arrives on the bridge, and Data confirms that sensors indicate, and I quote, their engineering systems are fucked.
Geordi says, well, let me guess, their rubber bands broke. Because their shit is so fucked up. It's like stuck together with rubber bands and chewing gum.
It's MacGyvered.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this conversation, though. Riker's like, well, why are you guys so far from home? And the Pakled says, we look for things. Riker's like, okay, what kind of things? And the alien says, things that make us go. We need help. And Riker's like, please state the nature of your mission. And again, the guy's like, we look for things. Riker's like, Jesus Christ.
It's like, who's on first?
Oh my God.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But LaForge is so sweet and kind to offer up his time. And of course, yeah, it's a flex. But he does say, from the looks of their ship, yeah, I can fix it. I can have them up and running in no time.
Yeah, but Worf is like, does this really require the chief engineer to beam over? Couldn't we send a UC? What about that Sonia Gomez one? She doesn't come back after this episode, does she? Let's send her.
Yeah, let's send her. And honestly, when the way he says it, man, this reminds me of like my aunties and back in the day. We're like, do we need to go and help everybody? You don't need to go over there. What you need to go over there for? Yeah. That's Worf being an auntie right now.
Worf's like, just send him a YouTube video and let him figure it out. And Riker's like, listen, even with IKEA instructions, do you think these people look like the kind of people who could put the bookshelf together?
But Worf is, thank you, Worf. He keeps pressing. He's like, we need more information on them. He's like, what about weapons? And he literally says weapons in here.
Why are you saying it like that?
He's just asking all the right questions. And they're like, nah, it'll be fine. Riker's like, you can relax. They can't even move their ship without our help. So we'll be fine.
So he sends Geordi over, and as he leaves, we talk more about Pakleds. Data says they are a relatively benign species, and Riker's like, don't you think they seem a little, I don't know, slow? Am I not woke if I say slow? Is slow, can we say that anymore? And Data's like, dude, maybe they just have poor language skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we don't call a whole group of people slow.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the shuttlecraft, Wesley notes their ETA and remarks on how slow this is, and Picard, who's reading a book, likens this trip to a late 22nd century interplanetary journey. And when Wes seems confused by this, he tells him, you should read more history. And then Picard starts talking about how, for him, this whole trip is a big fucking waste of time. Then, of all the people to share his secret with, he chooses Wesley, the boy?
Like, if you want, Wesley has the biggest mouth on the ship. Like, he will go, the first people he'll go tell is Data, Geordi, and Worf. And then it's all out from there, you know.
Wes asks, so why are you going to Starbase with me? And Picard's like, it's the damn ticker, boy. Gotta get it replaced. Like, he didn't want to talk about it with Pulaski, and he didn't want his number one to know what was going on, but he'll just open right up to Wesley? What? The person that doesn't share things like that is sharing to a child that he doesn't even a lot of times acknowledge at all. Yeah.
It's weird, but there we are.
There was another weird line here that I don't think landed, and I don't know what they intended by it, but Picard says his heart was injured and a replacement was needed, except that the replacement is faulty. And Wes says, well, why would anyone use a faulty replacement? He's not that thick. Everybody knows Picard meant the replacement has started to fail now.
Yeah.
Just some weak writing, I think.
Meanwhile, on the Pakleds ship, Geordi has beamed over to this piece of shit station wagon.
Wood paneling. Oh, shit.
And immediately he's crowded by these really four large dudes.
These dudes are big.
They are very substantial.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa, fellas, back the fuck up. I'm here to help. And then they start with their whole spiel. We are far from home. We look for things and that kind of thing. LaForge wants to get right to the point. Who's in charge of engineering? And there's a guy named Reginald. And again, the whole who's on first. Mm-hmm. We look for things, that kind of thing. Can you make our ship go?
Yeah, there's a tell in this little bit of dialogue that if you're not paying attention, you miss.
Oh, yeah?
Greb says, we look for things to make our ship go. Can you make our ship go?
Oh.
As in, are you the thing that we're looking for to make our ship go?
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So we go from one shitty little bit of dialogue to like a really great seed planted right at the top of the episode. Geordi's like, why don't you guys just show me where your guidance system is and I'll fix it up. And Reg is like, oh, he is smart. Okay, so Reginald is played by Leslie Morris, who immediately after this did a role on Doogie Howser, MD.
Oh, nice.
And he made the rounds in the 80s TV. Falcon Crest, Who's the Boss, Growing Pains.
Nice.
And indeed, Grebnadlog and Reginald are the backwards names Goldenberg and Doniger, but they weren't the actors, obviously. And I won't spoil Becca's big reveal when we lose this week's Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge later, so stay tuned.
Yeah. Troy comes tearing into the bridge and like, what the fuck? Geordi's on an alien ship.
What did you do? And nobody asked me what I feel?
Exactly. What is... Okay, Riker can't be in charge anymore because he's missed some steps because they always ask what the counselor's getting. But she's pissed because those aliens, she's like, what they're feeling isn't helplessness. And Geordi's in danger. Like, girl, you in danger, girl.
Well, we don't listen to women on this show, so I'm sure everything's fine. Act 2.
I'm First Officer William Riker of the USS Enterprise. We're responding to your distress signal.
Uh-huh.
What is your problem?
We are far from home.
Aren't we all? But you sent out a mayday?
Uh-huh.
Do you need help?
We are Pakleds. Our ship is the Mondor. It is broken.
Troy points out that we think the Pakleds are weak, and Riker's like, yeah, I mean, look at them. But Data reminds us that Troy was written onto this show exactly for moments like this. Meanwhile, back in the company van, Picard brings up this cardiac replacement procedure again, perfected to a 2.4% mortality rate, and Wes is like, those are pretty good odds. But then Picard says he just doesn't want the subject of his innards being Starfleet gossip. Seriously? Surely we have evolved beyond this kind of childishness in the Star Trek future.
Yeah. And I think that Picard would be above all of that. Like,
yeah.
This is just not, this is out of character.
Maybe this is some Kirk bullshit, but it's not Picard.
Yeah.
Wesley's like, well, why didn't you just have Dr. Pulaski do it then? She'd keep your secret. And Picard's like, have you been watching Star Trek The Next Generation at all, boy? He's like, I have personal reasons. End of discussion. He doesn't trust that bitch.
I guess, is that the issue? I don't know. Back on the Pakled ship, everybody's fucking watching Geordi like a hawk as he's doing all the work. And he's explaining, power needs to be rerouted through this Venturi chamber or whatever and all this babble. And all Reginald can say is, it's broken. It is broken.
So Riker calls to check in on Geordi and shares that Troy's been feeling some concerning things. And Geordi just laughs it off like, come on, you guys, everything's fine. These guys are nice enough.
He doesn't feel anything weird or, he doesn't have Troy's spidey senses, so he doesn't think anything of it.
Unfortunately, just as Geordi plugs it back in some circuit boards to bring the navigation back online, the main power fails, and he calls Riker back to let him know, hey, this is going to take a little longer than we expected. And the look between Riker and Troy was priceless. Back in the HOV lane, Wesley starts pushing buttons, Picard's buttons. He's like, I'm sure you'd rather had Riker to travel with. You're not comfortable with me. I get it. And Picard's like, what are you talking about? And Wes goes, oh, come on. Everybody knows you hate kids. It's too bad, though. You might have made a great father. And Picard's like, God, you sound just like your mother.
He takes his book and then gets out of the co-pilot chair and goes to the back seat. But Wesley's still pushing buttons. He's like, don't you wish you had kids of your own? I'm like, geez, Wesley, sometimes. He's kind of like Sonia. Just shut up. Stop talking, man.
Picard responds, wishing for a thing does not make it so. On the Pakled ship, Geordi is just finishing up. Riker and Greb are chatting on screen. I say chatting. Greb's just repeating, we look for things to make us go. And then he says of Geordi, he can make us go. And still nobody has figured it out. Riker does say, yeah, he can, but we need him back on our ship to make it go.
Yeah.
Anyway, sure enough, as Geordi prepares to beam back, Greb snatches up Geordi's heater and knocks him out. And now the transporter chief can't beam him back because the Pakleds have raised shields.
Fuck.
Data says this shield is far beyond their technological capability, probably Romulan. And Riker shouts at the view screen, but the Pakleds hang up the call and block the Enterprise's number.
We look for things.
Apparently your ship is in need of more than minor repair.
Things to make it go.
We will use our tractor beam to tow you to the nearest base.
He can make it go.
Yes, but we need our chief engineer back on board our ship.
He is smart.
So there's no response to hails, and they put up shields and heat up the phasers. And back on the minibus, Picard's still back. Picard's still in the back. And it seems like maybe he's trying to make up for his grumpiness earlier because he offers Wes a coffee and a sandwich, which Wes declines at first. But after some persuading, he joins Picard in the back. And Wes jumps right back into the personal probing questions. Were you ever married? No? Gosh, don't you get lonely? Shut up, boy.
I know. Ask your mom these things. Don't ask him. Now he's nervous. He's stuck there for 6 hours, and yeah, I get it. But Picard talks about the being, if you want to make it in Starfleet, son, if you want to really go anywhere, don't get married. There's certain costs involved, and don't get involved in long-term relationships.
Which I think is horseshit. This idea that you should have to choose between your career or a family is horseshit.
Yeah.
Even in the military, or maybe even especially in the military.
Yeah.
Anyway. Then Wesley asks if Picard was always so disciplined, and Picard breaks out some back in my day stories. This one time, a bunch of us were at Farspace Starbase Earhart, which is hard enough to say sober.
Farspace Starbase Earhart.
Yeah.
Wow.
Say that 3 times fast. And he's like, I was just so green and young and cocky as hell. And Wes is like, oh, is this before the Klingons joined the Federation? And I don't guess I realized the Klingons were more than just allies. They didn't join the Federation. They're allied. They're still the Klingon Empire, right?
I don't know. I did read something about this. Maybe the canon or something got out of whack.
Yeah.
But Picard says, yes, that's right, which I don't think is right, but he did say that is correct.
Anyway, Picard's like, I was in this seedy bar at this outpost, a real wretched hive of scum and villainy, if you ask me, and a bunch of Nausicaans came in looking for a fight. Everyone else had the good sense to stay back, but not me, not JLP. I squared off with the meanest of the 3, told him what I thought of him, his buddies, his planet, and his mom, and the next thing I knew, I was getting my ass kicked 3-on-1. Wesley's like, damn, you got in a bar fight and won?
Not quite. He didn't quite win. He said he had one of the Nausicaans down, and one of his friends drew his weapon and basically stabbed him in the back. And he talked about the weird sensation. Basically, he got stabbed in the heart. And he was like, I don't know that I've felt anything as far as pain, but he felt a giddy warmth. And he remembers laughing out loud.
I love that description. I thought that was so great.
Yeah. Because sometimes you think, sometimes injuries don't happen the way and feel the way you feel like they should feel. But yeah.
Yeah. And laughing out loud, put a pin in this, new viewers. If you're new to the next generation, put a pin in this one. We'll pull it out in a few seasons, I think. I don't remember when it comes back, but it comes back.
Luckily, they were near a medical facility. Otherwise, he would have died.
Wesley is all in on this story now. He's like, really? What happened next? And Picard's like, okay, calm down. I'm not some kind of fucking hero here. I was an undisciplined, loudmouth, opinionated young man who was way out of his league. See? This is the Picard who just last week would have recognized once again that he was way the hell out of his league with the Borg and made different choices. But what do I know?
Yeah, very inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He says he learned a very painful lesson that day, one he hopes Wes never has to learn in the same way.
Do you want another sandwich? And then so now they're best buds.
Yeah. Back on the D, Riker is pacing circles around the bridge while Data is working on breaking through the comms interference. And on the Pakled ship, Geordi is coming out of phaser fog.
He's telling the Pakleds to be careful with that thing, as if, you don't know what you're doing with that heater. And Greb Nedlog says, you want to hurt us. No, Geordi was there to help them, but they're talking about we can make more weapons. And Geordi's like, wait, you got a replicator?
Yeah, and it works too. It is not broken.
Yeah. So they're gonna make more weapons. And then back on the bridge again, Worf is just trying to figure out the best way to shoot him.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, photon torpedo. Maybe we can penetrate their shields,
Yeah, but that might make the situation worse for Geordi over there. When you got one of your crew people being held hostage, you got to be kind of careful. You can't just go shooting at the bank when the bank robbers have hostages. If only we knew what the Pakleds want. And Troy's like, I have been sitting here trying to tell you people they have what they want. For now.
Mm-hmm.
One last heartwarming father-son chat on the puddle jumper as they approach the Starbase. Picard asks if Wes ever read that book he gave him. And Wes is kind of like, oh, shit, no. I mean, I kind of read some of it, but no, listen, I just don't have a lot of time for that kind of shit, And Picard's like, listen, none of this is going to be on your Starfleet exams. The good stuff never is. But if you study the past, art, history, philosophy, all this may mean something, which I take to mean like you might find the meaning of your life in the study of the humanities.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all about like how to pilot a shuttle or how to repair the shields. Like there's more to learning than the mechanics.
Yeah. Back on the bridge, Troy, again, she's trying to tell them, would you fucking listen to me? They're all lying. The Pakleds are lying. Nothing they've said or done has been sincere up to this point.
And Data confirms that the systems that Geordi was repairing were actually deliberately sabotaged for the purpose of luring them and capturing Geordi.
Man, if only they'd taken the scan before they sent Geordi over there. Because if you can actually tell how something is broken long distance, why would you ever need to send anyone over there?
Yeah. This was fun, too. So Picard's still a little apprehensive about this surgery. And he and Wesley walk up to the glass doors of the medical center and go inside. And Picard's like, well, I guess you better be off to those exams. And Wesley follows him in and he's like, I got plenty of time to get there. And Picard's like, why do I feel like you are escorting me into the medical building? And Wes reveals that Pulaski asked him to make sure that Picard actually went inside for the surgery. And Picard's like, that fucking bitch. Before they split up, though, Wes tells Picard he enjoyed their trip together, and Picard agrees. I love it.
Aw. Back on the bridge, this time the Pakleds call them. Riker puts them on screen and demands that they return Geordi. And they're like, request denied. And then Riker starts saying, lower your shield, request denied. And then he shoots Geordi in the stomach again. Like, Jesus. So they're like, what the fuck do you want? Pakled's like, you think we're not smart. And Riker's like, well,
not exactly, but
we just need time to develop. And they're like, we are smart. Riker's trying to negotiate for Geordi. Okay, prove it. Bring him back. Send him back to us. And they're like, you want him? Then we want all your computer information from your ship now. Now we're getting to the nitty gritty.
Well, my mates and I were at the Bonsdale Recreation Facility, which was something of a dead rough crossroads at the time, filled with an assorted bunch of galactic riffraff. When a trio of Nausicans came in, they were clearly spoiling for a confrontation with a group of fresh-faced Starfleet officers such as ourselves. Well, everyone in the group had the good sense to give these Nausicans a wide berth, stand off. Everyone, that is, except me. I stood toe-to-toe with the worst of the three. And I told him what I thought of him, his pals, his planet, and I possibly made some passing reference to his questionable parentage. And the next thing I knew, all three of them were on me, and I was fighting for my life. I was actually doing quite well for a while, too.
Well, right now isn't an option because we have to go discuss the situation in the conference room. And it seems to be coming down to two options. Release the Epstein files and all the other data on the hard drives. Or hand things over to Worf to fuck shit up. And nobody likes either of these options. But also, we have a chief engineer who's been phasered at least twice that we know of. So he could be needing medical attention. Speaking of Sarah totally misremembering episodes, why did I think Beverly had anything to do with this open heart surgery?
Because I think something else happened later. Because I'm thinking the same thing. There was another episode, I think.
Yeah. Is it the one where we revisit this Nausicaan story, maybe?
Maybe. Because the Nausicans do show up. But I seem to remember Beverly having something to do with...
Yeah. Anyway, I was super fucking wrong. Picard is on the bio bed, and for some reason, the doctors and nurses look like Darth Vader's Imperial Guard. Their scrubs are red, gloves and hats are red, everything is red. Very Imperial Guard looking.
Dun, 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 dun. It does. It does.
It does. The surgeon is played by Daniel Benzali. He was Theo Hoffman on General Hospital 5 years ago. He had recurring roles on LA Law, NYPD Blue. Is that where you know him from?
Yes.
Yeah.
In NYPD Blue, if you know, you know. There weren't a lot of people who watched that show, but the people who did he was.
Really? I thought it was a pretty popular show.
It was canceled after about three, 5 seasons, but I thought it was excellent. And I think I love him from that. That's where I remember him from.
Well, he's like, this is pretty routine, guys. We'll be home in time for dinner. Nothing to worry about here. Famous last words.
Mm-hmm. Back in the observation lounge on the D, they have time for a conference. They're talking about the Pakled culture and what limited information they have on it. Everything they have, basically, they've taken technology from other people. So they're kind of like the Borg, but just dumber. Just dumber. Just way dumber. So Troy is finally, maybe somebody's actually listening to Troy. They're unwilling to wait for the evolution of their species. Basically, they're not ready for all this technology, so they don't have the intellectual capacity to deal with it or use it. And the more they get, the more they want, and the more aggressive they become, and the more dangerous. And they're just trying to figure out how to give them something that they want so that they can just distract them long enough to steal Geordi away.
Yeah, maybe somehow we can use the impatience and greed against them.
Mm-hmm.
So this leads to the construction of an elaborate ruse. Throughout this, we cut back and forth to the surgical bay and the Pakled ship and the Enterprise. On the Pakled ship, Geordi offers to talk to his crewmates, convince them to give over the information. And he's like shaking. So there are definitely some side effects to being phasered a bunch.
Yeah, I don't think you can live through too many more.
Of course, the Pakleds want to be seen as smart, so Geordi convinces them that making this phone call is smart. And this conversation is not without some difficulty because of the Pakleds' lesser intelligence. Riker asks about the shields, and Geordi says most of the systems on this ship were stolen from the Romulans, the Klingons, the Harada, anyone that they've come in contact with. And then Riker's vocal change tells us that the ruse is on. He says, confirmed, they steal technology. And Data adds, but they're too stupid to know how to use it properly. And this is great fun because Geordi isn't in on it. Like, they're trying to communicate this plan to him in a way that the Pakleds won't pick up.
You know, when we're doing like Trek Word or something, and you try to subliminally tell someone what you're fucking thinking, and that's why your voice changes. No, it's and don't you get it? Can't you see into my mind? So yeah.
Riker's like, you're an excellent chief engineer, Lieutenant LaForge. And Geordi's like, well, thanks, I guess. And Riker says, and of course, your knowledge of phaser and photon weaponry is unmatched. And Geordi's like, gosh, that's awful kind of you to say, but, Worf that's kind of his thing. And Riker says, our missions are always inherently dangerous, and any of us could be called upon to make the ultimate sacrifice. And Geordi's like, yeah? Riker says, well, this must be your time. We sure are going to miss you. And Data adds, goodbye, best friend. I shall especially miss you at weapons system analysis.
And then Geordi's like, oh, I get it. Oh, and so I guess you'll just have to arm your photon torpedo countdowns without me.
Mm-hmm. Data says, yes, and our hydrogen collectors. You picking up what I'm putting down?
Worf chimes in, and he's like, any classified weapons knowledge you share with your captors will be considered treason. And Geordi's like, well, I may not have a choice. And then Worf comes in with, well, you will die without honor. And Geordi's like, thanks a lot. But then he says, you will never attain the 24th level of awareness. And Geordi's getting it. He's like, 24, huh? Okay. Yeah, 24 is the gateway to heroic salvation. And they're in the transmission, and they're like, God, I hope he understands this.
On the Pakled ship, Grab pulls the heater on Geordi again and demands that he make them strong or die. Meanwhile, there's something going wrong with Picard's surgery, so they're calling in a specialist in biomolecular physiology to try to save his life.
Commander Riker.
Yes, Lieutenant, we're here.
The Pakleds seem pretty sincere.
We want what we want.
Our computer banks are non-negotiable.
We want them.
Believe me, they're nothing if not persistent.
We want to be nothing if not persistent.
Nobody ever said they were great conversationalists.
The Pakleds are trying to get Geordi to supercharge their weapons, and he suggests increasing the antimatter charges. And they warn him, don't try to trick us, because we can tell if you're trying to trick us, because we're smart.
Back in the operating theater, they're having all kinds of issues, and there's lots of medical babble being tossed around. Metabolation, heterocyclics,
Nailed it.
capillary integrity's failing, and Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The physiologist that they brought in, he's not qualified, and the physiologist says, I know someone who is. And then they switch back to engineering.
Yeah, I know a guy. Okay.
I know a guy. Okay.
Riker and Data are in engineering with Sonya, working on, because she's the only other engineer on the ship this season, apparently. Working on their side of the ruse when Worf calls down with troubling news. Captain Picard is close to death. So now, not only do we have to get Geordi back and get away from these fuckers, we've got to get to the hospital to say goodbye before it's too late. Two things here. I love the Pakled playset. We didn't really talk about their ship, but I love it. And this console is big fun. It's got these large red beacon lights on the console. There's like 5 of them that light up in sequence when Geordi starts flipping some switches. I just love it.
I don't think I paid any attention to it. The filming, the way that they filmed everything, it was all dark. And well, it was like a amber looking when they filmed the Pakleds in dark, which should have told us something. But I didn't pay attention to the console.
The other thing I love is that Geordi clearly understands the assignment, and he's getting some of his swagger back. He tells the Pakleds, you're armed to the teeth now. And Greb's like, but teeth are for chewing. And Geordi like gives him this friendly little punch on the chest, and he's like, no, you have photon torpedo. You are strong.
To which they respond, we are strong. We have power.
Of course, Data picks up the activation of this torpedo on sensors, so they know that Geordi is doing his part. But Worf's got another update from Starbase. They need to head that way at Warp 9. It is not looking good for JLP, and Pulaski and Troy are both ready to bail. But Riker's like, we can't just leave Geordi. So Riker gets on the phone and tries gaslighting the Pakleds. But they're like, we are strong. We have respect and power. And Riker's like, I don't have time for this shit. You want power? Try this. And he calls down to Gomez, who is apparently, again, the only engineer still working, and tells her to start the firing countdown from 24.
Wink. On the Pakled ship, Geordi feigns shock. I can't believe that my friends are trying to kill us, you know? And of course, the Pakleds are, yeah, they are violent.
Geordi's like, oh yeah, they want to play rough? Fucking watch this. And he goes over to the console and starts dicking around with some stuff. But this convinces the Pakleds that Geordi is on their side.
Yep. So they do the whole count aloud down to from 24 down. And Geordi's like, nope, don't do anything yet. They're down to 15. And Reginald is like, what are you doing? But, just making sure the systems are operative. Don't do anything yet. And they're like, we will attack. We are strong.
Yeah, Geordi has to keep like swatting them down. Like, no, not yet. Just wait. And the countdown ends. But instead of actual weapons fire from the D, some red dust shoots out from the front of the warp nacelles, just as Geordi tells Greb to fire. And when the Pakled weapon doesn't work, Geordi's like, ah, shit, we're too late. They used their Crimson Force Field. It disarmed us. Oh, man.
No, the Crimson Force, not the Crimson Force.
Greb and Reg admit that the Starfleets are smart and the Pakleds are not strong.
And then they grab Geordi with the transporter and get him the fuck out of there. And then they head to Starbase 515 at Warp 9.
Again, don't know why the fuck I thought Crusher had anything to do with this. Maybe wishful thinking. But Picard starts to wake up from surgery, and there's Pulaski in her Imperial Guard scrubs. And Picard's like, ah, fuck, what are you doing here? And she says, saving your life, of course. But he, again, insists, he's like, no, this is just a routine procedure. I didn't want you involved. He's like, oh, shit. If you're here, then the whole crew must know. Mm-hmm. But she says, no, you're still the invincible captain. And he reluctantly thanks her. And again, I think all of that is bullshit.
Yeah, it's weak. Weak sauce. Total weak sauce. But the next scene on the bridge, they show Picard and Wesley have arrived back on the Enterprise. And, wrong move. Everybody just bursts into applause as Picard walks into the bridge, but then it quickly dies down because they know they fucked up.
Yep. He's like, what the actual hell do you think you're all doing? He says Wesley's performance in the Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge permits him to continue his studies on board the D. Also, any rumors with my brush of death are greatly exaggerated. Understood? Off we go to the next adventure.
Boy, I'm sure glad that's over with.
I'll be glad to be relieved of this cargo.
Me too.
It is done, and perhaps just as well.
Yeah, but I learned something today.
I sincerely hope that this is the last time that I find myself here.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? You see, of all the species, yours cannot abide stagnation. Change is at the heart of what you are. That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
You know, we talk often about how we are seeing these stories so differently this time around. And this week, I was once again taken by this incongruence between a young Picard who fought off Nausicaans and learned a lesson about being stubborn, arrogant dick, and adult Picard who's still a stubborn, arrogant, and kind of a dick to Pulaski about this surgery.
Stubborn, arrogant, and an ego. Yeah.
So did you learn your lesson with the Nausicaans or not?
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He learned that particular lesson, but didn't learn how to apply that to the rest
other
of
things.
Yeah. Also, for me, looking at the Pakleds again, I had a different perspective on, like, initially I thought, man, these guys are dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like they said, they have technology and they weren't intellectually ready to be able to use it. But also, I think the thing I got is that, you know how you can judge people by their speech patterns or by whatever, and you underestimate them because they don't talk like you. But they can be just as nice or just as evil and dangerous if they maybe don't seem as smart as you. Because I was just thinking, man, they're just dumb. But it's not just that granted, they were dumb. But they could have easily been nice people.
Mm-hmm.
We have to judge, though. Like, when you meet someone or if you're out in space, you have to make those judgments, especially if it's a life or death situation.
And those judgments happen very quickly.
Yeah, and the only person that, had any bit of caution was Worf. Everybody else is like, oh yeah, we'll help him. No, I think Worf was right.
Yeah.
Not judging them based on their speech or anything. He was just like, do we just want to just send somebody over there without checking them out first?
Yeah, protocols. There are some safety protocols that we're not following.
Riker all of that went out the window.
Something you said just made me think, like, is this Star Trek's answer to the question, what if we beam down and tell Sarjenka's parents that, hey, there is life out there and we travel in ships through space and we have all this advanced technology and shit before they're ready?
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what I was getting at, was because I didn't actually hate the idea of them doing the flashy thing in her. Because I just, maybe they weren't ready. So maybe this is what happens when, and maybe also what Q is trying to do sometimes is keep Picard and the Enterprise from going places or doing things or keep telling them, you're not ready for this. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Of course, this is a unpopular opinion, but I love Picard and Wesley deepening their relationship on this long drive to the Starbase.
Why would that be an unpopular opinion?
Because I love Wesley.
Oh.
We're not meant to like him. But yeah, like this, he was a little forward and a little pushy and, you know, like that I would not expect him to do, especially with Picard. I mean, he has been shown to be terrified of this man.
Yeah.
In previous episodes. But for Picard to open up to him, again, not the person I would expect him to choose to open up to, but I like that it happened, and I like that their relationship is deepening, and like, you know, maybe Picard will come around on this idea of like, I don't relate to young people and I don't like them and I don't want to be around them, and you know, it softens his grumpy edges a little bit.
Yeah. And his answer to Wesley's, did you ever want children? Maybe he did. And maybe he has resentment because he chose to be a captain.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why he doesn't like children, is because they remind him of what he missed out on. Yeah. I don't know. These are just, this is just me, you know, chatting shit. I don't know.
I like that take, though. I like that take. Anybody die in this episode?
Not really. Just Picard's ego a little bit.
Again, Picard and his fucking ego, week after week after week.
We can handle all the pleasantries later. Now, let's get down to business.
I am willing to pay handsomely for you.
I think you've had a little too much to drink.
Now, what do you know about my money?
Your money?
The money he stole!
You stole his money?
Those vouchers I gave you were every bit as good as Latinum.
You can spend Latinum almost anywhere. Those vouchers are only good at your bar.
Well, as always, we like to thank everyone who supports the show, and a special shout out and thank you to our founding admirals who support us on patreon.com/humanistrek. A big thanks to Ali, Peter, Sarah D, Bruce, The Bear, and Cured Podcast, and some call him Tim.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Captain, Starfleet Academy is requesting an update on our estimated arrival.
Finalists, please take your seats.
I must admit you have a very fast mind.
Once I realized it was a trick question, there was only one answer.
Although only one student will be chosen for the Academy, any of you could easily qualify. Candidates, good luck.
You got called to the superintendent's office. It's a story I'd like to hear.
Becca is back now with the answer to this week's Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge question for Samaritan Snare. Remind us all again the question.
What is the significance of the Pakled names Grubnidlog and Reginald?
And in episode, we discussed that they are indeed backwards names. Of course, we looked this up while we were, but we didn't steal your thunder. We know they're backwards names. We know they're not the actors. Who are they?
Writer Robert McCullough explained the names of Grubnidlog and his subordinate Reginald were names he learned in junior high school. His last name used to be Goldenberg, and his best friend's last name was Doniger. And so they had a code of calling each other by their last names backwards. So he used those names in this episode.
Nice.
So I'm going to give you a half a point each.
Affirmative.
Okay.
Because you knew it was a backwards name, you just misidentified where the names came from.
Excellent.
Okay.
We'll take it.
I'll take a point wherever we can get it. Sarah, what's your last name is Ray? What? So what's
Yar?
Yar.
No, oh my gosh, Yar. I don't even know how to spell mine. Mine is let me.
Damesa.
Damesa.
Damesa. So that's my alien name, and you're Yar.
I love it. I couldn't tell you the last time I updated the scoreboard.
Well,
so I don't really know how we're doing, but
I'm pretty sure you're ahead. But.
Yeah. Well, that much I know.
She knows she's winning, so she's not watching it closely.
Yeah.
That's what that says.
What arrogance. What arrogance.
Right?
Didn't you learn? Aren't you learning anything from these episodes about, about arrogance?
Next week, we'll be reviewing Star Trek The Next Generation Season 2, Episode 18, Up the Long Ladder. The crew's rescue of a missing Earth colony leads to the discovery of a civilization composed entirely of clones. Okay, I vaguely remember some kind of storyline like this, but I don't remember a lot of the details. So they're like on some kind of planet that made it impossible for them to naturally reproduce or something, and so they got into cloning to continue their species or something.
Okay, so they didn't steal children or anything?
Not this time.
That was another episode.
Well, maybe they did. I don't know. Becca, what's the question? Did they steal any children?
I don't know. A particular line in this episode prompted a lot of hate mail sent to the episode writer. Can you tell me what the line or subject matter was?
What?
What do you think would inspire hate mail?
Some sort of discriminatory remark, or
it had to be something about like, oh, you can't get pregnant, like something about people who are unable to become pregnant.
Right, something discriminatory.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably something like, oh, the whole purpose of human life is to procreate and make offspring, which is one possible purpose of human life, not the purpose of human life. That's my guess.
It was the 80s, though. I don't know. What would they be mad about in the 80s?
Something to do with cloning?
Something to do with not being able to have kids. What got a lot of hate mail? I have no idea. Something discriminatory, though.
All right, so I'm hearing we are joining each other in the something about you can't have kids and that's the whole purpose of living or something.
Maybe is it something about being a woman, or maybe they felt like clones weren't people. I don't know.
Hey, if corporations are people, clones are people. And if you're a people and you want to play along, you know how to do that. Head out to your social media, share this episode with the hashtag Starfleet Challenge, and we'll pick out a winner. And next time we'll talk about Star Trek The Next Generation Season 2, Episode 18, Up the Long Ladder.
Glory to your house.
Make it so, number one.
Humanist Trek is available wherever you replicate your podcast. Follow us on all the social medias at Humanist Trek. Become a patron at patreon.com/humanisttrek. Open hailing frequencies to podcast@humanisttrek.com and visit our website, humanisttrek.com. Humanist Trek is a production of Sarah Austin Media.